evening, everybody. John Connolly here at Center Ice, high atop the ice sheet at Dakota. Had a chance to talk to Edina coach Kurt Giles before the start of the Hockey for Life Classic.
We're right before the game with Edina, and this is head coach, 20th season at Edina. Kurt Giles, how you doing?
Doing great, thank you.
So at this point of the season, Edina's off to another great start. This is a great group of kids, and they've looked very impressive to this point. As you look out at the competition this weekend and really setting the course for the rest of the stretch drive, what are some of the things you'd like to tell today's viewers about the team and what you're working on and what you think the future holds?
Well, the thing is, at this point in the year, what we're looking for is good competition, and that's what we really found again down here at this tournament. We've got a great game against Moorhead. We've got a good look at St. Thomas Academy, and then we finished with Cherski. So we've got great competition come up here. And traditionally, what we're looking for in regards to this at this time of the season is what we've got. You get that good competition, you find out who competes, who handles the puck, and who does things well under pressure. So this is a great opportunity for us to find out what we got.
You know, you mentioned Cherski. I thought Cherski was going to be awesome this year. And then the season started. They laid an egg. They laid another. They laid another. They came here. They're 4-5. And today they ran Eden Prairie out of the building. A very impressive 6-3 win. So, you know, super exciting. When you look at the three opponents for Edina, Moorhead, traditional power. The second day, you've got St. Thomas. They're looking good this season. And then Cherski. So you have good competition. Let's hope it's not the only time you play 3 games back-to-back this year.
No, absolutely not. You know, this is a great opportunity again for our kids to play 3 games in a row and see what that really feels like. So, great competition. We're really looking forward to the tournament. It's going to be a great tournament.
So last year, a lot of people think that's as good a team as Edina ever had. I think the third place game was 11-0. Obviously, you wanted a championship, but hard to be more impressive than last year's Hornets. This year's team is very, very impressive. Are there any similarities or differences? How does this year's team compare? A lot of the same personnel, but I'm curious as what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit different than we were last year. I think we're a little bit top-heavy in regards to Sammy Walker's line. You know, he contributed so many points and so many things to our team. I think we relied on one person or one line a little bit too much. So I think we got a little more depth this year. I think we'll see more depth from our teams all the way from line 1 through line 4, 6 defensemen. We've got 2 good goaltenders. So we're excited about our team, but as you know, we have a long ways to go.
Thanks for all your time. Best of luck this week, and best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you.
So that was Kurt Giles. Talked to him before we got started with the tournament and what's been going on with the Hockey for Life. Let's give you a recap summary here. Cherski came out yesterday 6-3 over Eden Prairie, very impressive. Then we had 3 outstanding hockey games, 4-3 St. Thomas over Stillwater, 3-2 overtime Lakeville North over Prior Lake, and then Edina in a thriller last night. 2 late goals by Brett Cherski. They come back to win 6-5. Liam Malmquist with the hat trick. Edina 6-5 over Moorhead. So anyway, about that. Now, 4 great games. We come back today. It's not quite the same. Cherski runs over Prior Lake. Don't don't read too much into the score. Prior Lake played hard. They just never had a good break all game. 8-0 is your score. Cherski over Prior Lake. So Cherski plays Edina tomorrow at 2:30. They've been resting up since 2 o'clock today. Tight turnaround for Edina. Win or lose, they've got to come back and face Cherski tomorrow at 2:30. Stillwater 3-1 over Lakeville North. Stillwater's got a win on the board. Lakeville North has a win. Both of those teams 1-1. Eden Prairie bounces back there 1-1 with a win over Moorhead. Moorhead's 0-2 now. Now we've got Edina versus St. Thomas. We're going to take a quick break here for the national anthem, and then we'll get back to introducing our color analyst and talk about today's game. All right, all right, all right. So we have a great one. St. Thomas wears a two-color scheme. It's blue with white numbers and white stripes. Looking to the other side, it's Edina, just like yesterday, white, green pants, and yellow accents. Very, very exciting game here. Edina was very impressive in their goal scoring yesterday. Very underwhelming in terms of keeping the puck out of the net. They win 6-5. Can't always count on scoring 6, so they don't want to give up 5 if they can avoid it. We've got St. Thomas. They've had highs and lows this season. Low mark possibly being when they were facing their rival Hill Murray. Hill Murray beat them quite soundly. It really traced back to the first period where 3 shots got past Donahue. Donahue with a tough first period really didn't ever really get their bearings after that. They lost a convincing game to Hill Murray. At this point of the season, most teams have a game they'd like to just toss out the window and say, hey, you know what? Let's forget about that one. And that was their game. So center ice face-off here. Nod on his performance last night. They've got Brett Cherski, and they've moved Borst to play with Cherski and Delaney, a little different than it was a couple games ago. And Delaney had a beautiful assist on one of Cherski's goals. Can't remember if it was the tying goal or the winner, but you know, certainly a very exciting finish as Cherski scores too late for Edina to get the win. The puck is dropped and we are off on retreat. This is Boltman, rings the boards, and this one goes the length of the ice. They think it was tipped, so there's no icing call, and we've got St. Thomas back behind the goal. It's Bamer. Bamer steps behind the line and working down low. It's Edina on the forecheck, and breakout opportunity. This is O'Neill. They bring it out to the neutral zone. He skates it most of the way and passes it up ahead over to Christie. Down into the corner. Centering, starting out today, that is 17, Brett Cherski, and possibly a player that's going to be talked about more and more as we progress through the season. 2 huge goals last night. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Want to introduce, we've got somebody joining me. It's kind of like the Spinal Tap drummer over here on the color. We've got a rotating cast, so here we go.
Not only is today's color analyst the finest player ever to suit up for Minneapolis West High School, he was the state's first Mr. Hockey as a senior at Minneapolis Southwest. He was the 16th pick of the NHL draft, won a Stanley Cup with the New Jersey Devils in 1995, and today is a Fox Sports North television analyst for the Minnesota Wild. His son, Brett, wears number 17 for the Edina Hornets. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome Tom Cherski.
Nice bit of a golf clap there, but I appreciate the intro and the welcome.
Yeah, Tom, it is awesome to have you with me. So Thanksgiving, it was Jamie Langenbrunner in that spot, and he said, oh, I'm going to have to play that for my kids. They don't believe I played. So anyway, I'd say mixed emotions around the Cherski household last night. Brett, obviously the hero with 2 late goals. Tell me about what the tone was like around the house. I understand it was a shocker over at Braemar.
For the girls team, yeah, the girls varsity team dropped to Breck. Not a shocker, but I mean, Breck's obviously a strong team. They won state last year in single A. But it was a disappointing game, I think, mostly because they just felt they could have played better.
Well, Tom, we're getting going here in the early parts. 2 minutes into the game, it's dumped in by St. Thomas. Hogan goal again for Edina. Donahue over on my left for St. Thomas. Neutral zone, it's chip and chase by Jungles. This is a line, I'm sure you've heard stories. I know you were working the Wild game last night. This is a line that was like a symphony. They had 4 goals, 3 of them scored by Liam Malmquist, and they got Edina in a position to win. And then a certain tall center, number 17, with 2 late goals. And, you know, you got to be real happy with how your son closed this one out. 2 goals, tying and winning, and really clicking with his line as well.
Yeah, I was very happy, obviously happy for his success. It's been a bit of a while coming, and so I know what he's capable of, and obviously hope for all of that, and he seems to be kind of finding his stride. But back to the game, I did have kind of one eye on it here and there on my iPad as I was working for the Wild game. But So I did see that Liam Malmquist lit the lamp 3 times, and then Jet Jungle got the other one, and then Brett scored. But I'm looking forward to this game. Good matchup right here between St. Thomas and Edina.
This really is. So yesterday, St. Thomas with a nice win over Stillwater. And I know you've been busy with a lot of things. You got multiple kids playing. You're doing things with the Wild. And, you know, St. Thomas has that one result this year where you just scratch your head and say, that's not what we wanted. They look pretty good at Thanksgiving tournament, and they hadn't yet settled in. A couple players coming off of the football team. But they really laid an egg against Hill Murray. So here we have a game. They've got something to prove. And Moorhead showed, you know what, just don't give up against Edina. You're never out of the game. So entering the zone far side is O'Brien. Takes this one in wide. Centering pass doesn't quite connect. Stolen by Johnson, and Johnson can't quite clear the zone. Sweeping in, now it is Cherski. Plays it to the blue line, not out. Pinching in is Killian.
I think the D was outside. His feet were outside the blue, so it is offsides. I had a chance to see St. Thomas play against Benilde St. Margaret's earlier this season. I was over there watching a friend of mine's son play on the JV and stuck around, and they got off to a hot start against Benilde and lit them up, I think, for 4 in the first period. Looked very good. Better, I dare say, a little better than I expected. So I am expecting a lot out of St. Thomas. They move the puck pretty well, and they do have some heavy hitters that, as you mentioned, came off the football field this fall.
It's my 5th game already this season announcing for St. Thomas, so if you've heard it before, I apologize, but for people that haven't, St. Thomas is a weird little mix. They lost a lot, and they return a lot. There's players like Christie that are gone and defenseman Foley, but then you look at who's back, Christie's brother Rob, and you know some others as well. So it's kind of a weird, they lost a lot, they return a lot, they lost Matsui, and now they go on the power play going off for Edina. That is Kavanaugh.
Side story on the Christie boys, his father Ray and I were line mates in high school.
So Minneapolis Southwest?
Minneapolis Southwest. He was my centerman my senior year.
Okay, gotcha.
And he'll tell you that he put me, you know, he put me in the big show if you listen to him long enough.
Well, we know that to be the case. So all I remember, you know, you played Edina, and they dropped the puck, you split the D, and it was about 10 seconds, and you lit the lamp. That's as fast as I've ever seen anyone. The only player, I remember Ken Jernander was impressive with his speed, and last year Sammy Walker. But, yeah, you were a fast skater. We'll talk more about that as we get into the game. So face-off is to the right of Hogue.
It's a good opportunity for St. Thomas here to
Christie in the circle.
Take a lead on the power play.
For sure, and one of the things about Edina, last night's color commentator Matt Henches, 88 grad from Edina, mentioned, you know, they just are so casual, and you know what? You can come out casual, but it might butt you in the butt. That you need to play with a sense of urgency, and they're being tested early here on the kill. Played along the wall. This is O'Neill, chips it in deep, rings the boards. Here's Christie, pulls it out of the corner behind the goal line, and nice little bat there from McFadden. McFadden powering his way, and Hogue with an early save. He's already made 2. Christie, centering pass, doesn't quite connect, and it's a big rebound onto the stick of Nevers. He clears the zone, loses the puck. Second chance is a charm. He throws it length of the ice, and interesting little combination there. They're using Morton with Nevers on the PK. We saw a lot of Colby on the PK yesterday as well.
Yeah, they've got a handful of guys that they'll mix and match, I think, on the penalty kill and try to get them all in there. Or it's still early in the year, too. It probably hasn't quite settled in on their final pairings, if there are going to be any.
Jungle's out to the neutral zone. Sweeping in is Vega. Vega was very, very active all over the ice yesterday, and he gains the red, gains the blue, brings it in wide. Fights off a body check down into the corner, working against Williams, and eventually the puck turns over onto the left point. This is McLean Bodette. Keeps it in, but got Malmquist there trying to clear it, and St. Thomas doing a real good job on the forecheck. Herzog down in deep, works against Vorlicki. Vorlicki throws it out, bobbling over a stick. Icing is waved off, and it's going to be Malmquist. He's working against Donahue. Donahue fakes him out by not doing anything and manages to get it onto the stick of McLean Bodette.
And if you haven't highlighted Donahue, he's another highlight for this team. It's such a luxury to have a great goalie like him.
It's an interesting story. You mentioned, Tom, last year the top goalie award winner, I think it was the Brimstick Award, went to Atticus Kelly. All year long I heard about St. Thomas having the best goalie in the state. So you could be pretty good and not get called on much. Donahue didn't play very much. Kelly moves on, and they don't skip a beat. He's an outstanding goalie, and as I mentioned in some of the pregame intro, you know what? He really would like that first period over against Hill Murray. He was out of position 3 times, kind of not getting that angle. 3 goals, all same spot. So he comes in. He's got a little chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. He's played great all year, -1 period. He wants to show everybody that he is one of the top goalies in the state of Minnesota.
Pretty nice crowd tonight. Filling up a good part of this building.
No place I'd rather be.
No, me either.
you know, we had a update. I think it was the St. Louis Park tournament 5-2, I believe, Minnetonka over Maple Grove, and people were talking yesterday between the 5 o'clock game here and 5 there and 7:30 here, almost like the state semis and how high quality these Friday night games are. Out to the neutral zone. Here comes Cherski. Cherski kicks it off his skate boot up onto the stick blade, fights a battle through. He's still got the puck and protects it, nicely played back to Johnson. Johnson with a shot. This one gets knocked down, and breakout opportunity here for Soderling. Soderling plays it over to right back to Wingus. Wingus, turned over, and it's right on the doorstep, and a little fake there. Kind of faked himself out. Borslock lost the puck down below the dots.
Edina's worked a change into this shift on the forecheck. They've been able to get new players out there. Kind of that third line unit looking. Peter Colby. Borst is still out there, left over from the Cherski line. And
there he goes. Borst is off. And Morton on the forecheck, want to give a shout out. I appreciate everybody that takes the time to watch and say that they caught these games. Morton's got grandparents watching in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So shout out to grandparents of Grant Morton. Always nice to hear people are able to check in and watch these games. 10 minutes to go in the first period. Still scoreless here. Edina's gotten 7 shots toward the goal, but yet to crack the code. Bringing it back for St. Thomas into his end is McFadden. McFadden's an interesting one. We'll talk more about that, Tom, as we get going. He plays it over to Bamer. Bamer, stretch pass up to Christie diagonally, and big save Hogue, but there's a juicy rebound, eventually tidied up. Nice play there by Colby.
Thought St. Thomas might have got away with an offsides there, but it's a moot point now that it's left the zone and now back in the Edina defensive zone.
Reiners up to Shoemaker. Shoemaker ticks it out to neutral, but the only one there is a blue jersey Bamer. Bamer plays this one over on the wall. O'Neill, they get it to the blue line, but can't enter. Sweeping back is Shimmick. Shimmick, Bamer. Bamer, Christie. Christie bangs this one ahead, and nice little play there to tip it away by Boltman. He's contending with McFadden. Oh, what a rip steal here. O'Neill fans on the shot, however, and oh boy, we've got a wall-to-wall activity here, and Rugemer brings this out, crosses the red, enters the zone, and he fires a big shot, follows his own rebound. Another save by Donahue, but he can't quite get the cover. Play continues. In front of the benches, here's Henry, chip and chase. This one goes length of the ice, icing the call.
I was going to say, not many whistles. The period has moved along pretty quick. We're at the 8.5-minute mark.
So, Tom, we had Edina with 5 college-committed players, Eden Prairie 4. I think those, kind of up are the upper ranges of the state. I can't remember who else we had. Chaska had 4.
Tonka's got a bunch, I think.
Tonka's got a bunch. They're not here, but in the ice, but in the ice today, kind of a fun one. A lot of college commitments for St. Thomas, but it's an interesting mix. We've got Boston College golf for goaltender Donahue. We've got Herzog, North Dakota football. That's a football power. And he's just getting his hockey legs after their state runner-up. McFadden hasn't figured out what he's going to do post-high school, but he was the Pioneer Press Player of the Year, postseason accolade for his football. And one college-committed hockey player, that is Christie. He's headed to Colorado College, joining his brother, who you mentioned you were a line mate of their father, and made you what you are today. Stretch pass out to Jungles. Jungles enters the zone. He's got Malmquist going toward the net. Plays a high trailer back to.
Liam
it just didn't connect.
Just missed an open net.
Tom, I'm going to hand you the mic here because bad bounce for Killian. It goes off of his skate boot past St. Thomas, and Edina's up 1-0. Edina takes the lead 1-0.
And that's that top unit of Jungles, Nevers, and Malmquist striking first for the Edina Hornets.
This is for you. This is the Devil's goal horn. So Tom, that shift was a good example of what happened last night. You were tied up with work, and I was with Matt Henches. And in trying to announce the game, when this line comes out, sometimes they pass so fast it's hard to keep track of the play. I just gave up, and it's like, okay, those guys are out there, and tic-tac, boom, you got a goal there scored by Jungles.
Edina comes back with the Cherski line. They are in the offensive zone, applying a little pressure.
All right, back to the action here for me. I'm taking my notes, and as I've been writing down, it's 22, 7, and 18 in some order. This one is Jungles with an assist to Malmquist and Nevers. Edina takes an early lead, 1-0, and none of them really knocked it into the net. It was off the skate boot of a St. Thomas Academy defender, and kind of a bad bounce for the Cadets. Out at the neutral zone, here's Kevin Delaney, fires this one, played by Donahue behind the end line, and first one to arrive on the scene is Shimmick. Shimmick with a stretch pass out to the neutral zone, and doesn't quite arrive as a pinching Hornet player steps in. I believe it was Boltman. Comes Christie working against Reiners, and a little dipsy dangle pass, trying to get it into the slot. He's trying to get it over to McFadden. So, Tom, you postseason awards, first Mr. Hockey, very honored to be next to you. You're no stranger to postseason awards. This guy won the Player of the Year from the Pioneer Press. I think it was 36 touchdowns in one football season, and they only played like a dozen games.
Yeah, he was a force, and speaks, I think it speaks well to those multi-sport athletes that we're always looking for as well.
And no offense, I mean, I'm super excited to be here with you, but I went home and watched the game. There's another Cherski that could occupy that spot. Your son, Brett, is quite articulate. He had the post-game interview. He's mature beyond his years.
He surprised me a bit. I went back and looked at it, too, and I thought he did just a fine job for one of his first interviews ever, I think.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed he was a high school student, and kind of a cool, calm, pretty cool that he has going there. Nice little dipsy dangle. Christie's very active early on in this one, and he's really brought it here. I think he's really jazzed to play against these Edina players. Hockey today is a little different than in your era. There's a lot more familiarity because of some of the off-season stuff he's played with and against these guys, and some of the summer stuff or fall elite league. And I notice a little step on Christie that I haven't seen. Turned over right to Jungles. Jungles plays this one over to Malmquist, but takes a big bobble up in the air and kind of keeps the zone, but really doesn't materialize a scoring chance out of those passes.
Brett, back to those relationships. Brett played with Ryan O'Neill for 3 or 4 AAA seasons on the Blades, and there's 2 guys from Edina that are on this St. Thomas team, in Soderquist and Vega. So Brett's played with them on teams.
Awesome connections here, and out to the neutral zone comes Herzog. Gets it onto the stick of Vega. The aforementioned Vega comes in wide, and he's ridden into the boards hard by Vorlicki. His pass doesn't quite connect. It goes the length of the ice. That's going to be an icing call. We got through those college commitments for St. Thomas, Tom. Let's flip it over and take a look at Edina. A lot of these boys have made their college choice to head to Minnesota. Sophomore Nick Williams, junior Jake Boltman, and senior Mason Nevers. Nevers has the distinction of being the first player committed under the Motzko regime. Number 22, Jet Jungles, Northern Michigan. And on defense, Mike Vorlicki, he's headed to Wisconsin.
Yeah, Mike Vorlicki out of that whole group is probably the most ready right now. We might see Mason Nevers at Minnesota because they need forwards next year, but we'll see.
Times have changed. You went from high school to college, and today there's a intervening step. A lot of kids playing, 1, 2, or even 3 years of juniors, depending on the team's needs, their readiness, and which program they've chosen. So big save here by Hogue. Want to mention that when you stick around today, part 2 of that great Ben Hankinson interview airs between period 1 and 2. Ben is a 1987 graduate of Edina and had a lot of wisdom. The first part that you saw yesterday was really more maybe reminiscing, and gets into a little bit more advice for players and parents and how to kind of approach the hockey stuff. He's an NHL agent. He's the father of a Division I committed player to Western Michigan. He's got another son on the junior varsity over at Benilde, and kind of sees it as a former player from a lot of different angles. You stick around for period 2 to 3 in our between period guests. It's going to be Mason Nevers, interviewed by Edina's Gracie Nelson, followed by Luke Herzog, interviewed by Tommy Odegaard from the St. Thomas basketball team. So that's just previewing some of the stuff we've got between periods. So, Tom, we've got enough of the game underneath our feet here for you to decide. How's the flow of this game looking? Put on your analyst hat and tell me what you're thinking.
I was just thinking it's been back and forth. It's quite even. The shots are 10-6 in favor of Edina, but St. Thomas has had a couple good looks. I think Edina's dodged a couple bullets too. There's been a couple loose pucks that had a St. Thomas guy got his stick on it. It could have been trouble, but pretty evenly matched.
Malmquist with a shot. This one's tidied up by Donahue. He made an awkward save and was kind of trying to make sure he didn't move, so the puck fell. I don't know where it was. It might have been kind of nudged up against his arm and his blocker.
Yeah, kind of his armpit area. He went down to that butterfly, and then it was going towards the armpit.
Right through the face-off. It was Nevers taking it toward the goal. This one rings all the way back to the point. It's played by Boltman. He keeps it in, and Edina is really strong, especially on the forecheck. This is an interesting line, you know, Tom, you've played at the highest levels, and there's 3 little guys, but they hound you, and a lot of times they win board battles and come out with the puck really more through cleverness than heft, and really a fun line for me to watch, but I don't know how you teach other kids how to do it. They're just crafty.
Well, you know, Dave Twilliger, who played at the University of Minnesota, was a big grinding forward, and Kurt Giles is an old school, you know, NHLer. So if you're saying they're playing kind of a gritty, grindy game as smaller guys, I think it's because they've been challenged and they have no choice. You know, I think Kurt and Twigs, as his nickname is, they like to be able to play a physical brand of hockey because they know they're going to see it on a lot of nights. A lot of nights, the Edina Hornets face teams that try to beat them with physicality.
Cherski dumps it in, avoids the check, and chips it down. Delaney works against Bodette. Bodette's an interesting player. His father, Dan, played for St. Thomas, class of 1986, Miami University in Ohio for his college hockey. And McLean was playing recently in Colorado Springs for the Rampage. Family moved to Minnesota. He's going to do 2 years of high school hockey, joins the St. Thomas team, and he's probably the largest and you know, heaviest player on the St. Thomas team. He's just a hoss out there, and he's a very good defenseman over on the left point, goes off for the line change. But, you know, Bodette comes in. That certainly helps a team add to the depth. And just a junior, he's got 2 years of eligibility, expected to be a high-level defender for them next year. Vorlicki behind the goal, goes on a guitar solo, plays this one to Williams, and it comes up the left-hand boards to Morton. Morton gets this one over to Shoemaker. Shoemaker to Colby. Colby lights the lamp back of the net. That's Peter Colby, and it is 2-0. Beautiful goal, his first of the year. Nope, second of the year.
So that play started back in the Edina's defensive zone. St. Thomas had a chance entering the zone, but Mike Vorlicki broke it up, took the puck, went around the net, and started that breakout. And then it got to the neutral zone, and Michael Shoemaker made kind of a nice little area pass behind the D, and Colby was able to skate into it and went in all alone and finished her off.
2-0. Edina up 13-7 on the shot clock. Peter Colby, this is for you. 9 from 14 and 4. That is Colby from Shoemaker and Williams. Colby from Shoemaker and Williams. So we're out to the neutral zone. Looks like the puck just popped over the blue line, back in for an offside call into the face-off circle. Winning the draw is O'Neill. This one's played out to the neutral zone. Bounces as Jungle takes a swat at it, or Nevers, I'm sorry. Second time, can't quite get it on a stick either. And here comes Shimmick. Shimmick plays this one over to Christie. Christie looking to get it back to Shimmick. They've taken it down to the end wall, but they've lost possession. Turned over to Christie, and he fires a shot that's deflected off of Boltman, sticking up into the netting.
There's another close call that could have gone St. Thomas's way, but it hit Boltman's stick on the way to the net and deflects out. I don't know. That could have been marked because he was in the scoring zone from about 12 feet.
You know, and one of the things we saw last night from the Moorhead game is, you know, you get these high-level players, and they don't need a lot of a crack to kick open the door, and they scored 5 goals, so that was the type. I think there was one just like that coming on the other side, flipped the mirror image of it, and they slid it past the goaltender. So, yeah, juicy scoring chance there. They'd love to get one. With 1 minute to go in the period, St. Thomas is trailing 2-0. They've played well, but they've given up 2 goals, and they'd love to cut into this margin before we go to the period break. On retreat, it's Henry circling behind the goal. Little counter move, gets it over onto the stick of Herzog. Herzog plays it to Shimmick. Nice little scheme there. They used 3 guys in the whole width of the rink to find a way out behind the end line, and they triggered a nice breakout. This little chip up ahead, but not quite hard enough. It's kept in by a forechecking Hallam, just a sophomore. Hallam draws the minor penalty, and any Edina players going off. Looks like a tripping call.
Looks like Nick Williams is going to be called.
No, it's going to be Borst.
Borst, I missed it then.
Sophomore Borst goes off. He pulled down sophomore Hallam. Had a chance to talk to Mark Mackesy. He's going to join me for color for the St. Thomas game tomorrow. And he said, you know, every time the college coaches come to watch our guys, a lot of times they come to look at some of the older guys, and they ask about him. He's a very physically talented player, got all the tools, and they love Hallam. He's in his second year of varsity play, came to this tournament this weekend with 3 goals, 3 assists, and 6 points in 8 games. He stays out on the power play unit. He's with Christie, McFadden. Out top, it's going to be O'Neill and Henry. So, Tom, let me ask you, we've got 4 forwards out there, 1 defense. That's pretty normal these days, looking back on, you know, your career as now broadcaster and player. And what are your thoughts? Who should be out on a power play unit, and does it vary depending on what your personnel is?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it doesn't hurt to put your 4 skill forwards out there in a situation, especially offensive zone face-off on a power play, right? And there's only 30 seconds left. They want to have as much talent on board as they can for that final 30.
3 seconds, 2 seconds, last-minute gasp here. The shot would have counted. It comes off the stick of O'Neill, and O'Neill's shot is steered aside by Hogue right as the period ends. So we're going to take a quick break here. It's about 12 minutes between periods. Ben Hankinson, part 2, is our between-period guest. Hope you enjoy that. And then come back for the second period action. And it's been a good one so far. Edina leads 2-0.
What's that?
Sadly, we've got other obligations this weekend. Yeah. And Tom, thanks for joining us. You did the first period. I know your voice, you're going to save that because you got the Wild game. What time's your Wild game tomorrow?
It's a matinee against the Winnipeg Jets.
Gotcha. So you're going to miss tomorrow's game with the Edina playing. When's your daughter's game? Your daughter playing today, tomorrow?
They're done. They finished up today. They took 3rd place. They beat Maple Grove 3-0. And Hannah had all 3 goals. So
Who? Hannah Cherski is her last name. Yes. Sophomore Hannah Cherski.
If I do say so.
So
she's going to be, if she knows that I was talking about it, she's going to be mad at me. So I'm going to go public and say I will no longer talk about it or tweet about it anymore. She's laid down the law.
Well, Tom, enjoy the rest of the game. Thanks for joining me. Second and third period, we're going to bring up St. Thomas Junior Varsity Assistant Coach and Upper Midwest High School Elite League Board Member Mark Mackesy is going to take it. You get some throat lozenges, nurse that voice, and go do the Wild game tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of this one.
Well, thank you for having me. I enjoyed it, and I think you're filling these shoes with a very good a good partner.
Yeah, Mark was great when we did the Elite League. Looking forward to getting back with him, but going to miss you. So enjoy the game, everybody. Yep. 12-minute break, and we're going to come back, turn it over to Justin here. He's our producer. Between period guest, Ben Hankinson.
And just to put things in perspective, we're filming this, we're in and I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before, Hopkins scored their first NHL goal, and I wasn't surprised he had his first goal, but Travis Boyd is a player. I think he's 25 now, and I remember hearing stories about him back in Pee-wees and bypassing Bantams, and just kind of a reminder about what a marathon a professional hockey career could be for some players, and all of the, potholes and U-turns and curves that you encounter along the way.
Right. It's a long marathon, like you said, and at the end of the day, life isn't always fair, but hockey is. Like, there's 31 NHL teams, there's a million colleges. I mean, there's from St. Thomas to the University of Minnesota to BC. Like, you'll find your place if you want to play in college. It might be St. John's, which is a great program, or Division III schools that are phenomenal. But it's like Travis Boyd. Yeah, he left and was a phenom in 8th grade at Hopkins, and then went to the U.S. development success there. But it's tough to score there. Like, are you better off being a top scorer in high school and then taking the step to juniors and taking a couple years becoming a scorer there and turning into a scorer in college, or learning to survive and play 200-foot two-way defensive hockey, and makes you more ready probably for the next level too, but then you don't have the puck on your stick as much too. It's a big debate, but there is a lot of potholes, and Travis Boyd from Hopkins spent probably, if you ask him, 2 extra years in the minors, but it makes him more ready when he gets to a good team like the Capitals to have Ovechkin pass him the puck, bury it for his first NHL goal.
Plug here for the players that are in the discussion to play at those higher levels, college hockey, maybe professional hockey. It's good to have somebody like Ben Hankinson, Octagon, on your side. So that's certainly demonstrates the value of the services you provide. But let's shift gears a little bit. You have something else going that's really just launched in a meteoric rise, and that's the Beauty League. So just a quick story how it came to be and what you have going, and maybe what you have planned for the future.
We've been thinking about doing a league for years. I've been it out there. There's a couple hockey guys guys, and they're always, yeah, might work, might not work. And I always thought it would work, but the trick is, you know, so it's a pro hockey league that we started in the summer, so it's all the top 60 NHL guys, you know, come and go throughout the summer on 6 different teams. We play 1 night a week in July, 2 nights a week in August, and so there's a total of, I think, 10 weeks, and they play 8 games each or 10 games each with the playoffs, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and the greatest thing is the fans come, they see the guys up close, they can bring their kids for free, and we raise good money for charities. We raised a lot of money for 3 charities this year: Herb Brooks Foundation, United Heroes Leagues, and Paul Martin's Shine a Light. And the guys get a lot out of it. You know, the only thing not perfect is the guys play at night in front of a crowd with a scoreboard and refs. They'd probably rather train and do it at 8 in the morning, so then they have time with their families, because they play at night all winter. They don't want to spend their summer nights playing in front of crowds, but that's how much these guys love it and love the shinny aspect of it.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America, so it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Jones, and welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota, in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages, from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
So it's clearly the place to be. You go over to Braemar on a Wednesday night in the summer, and it's, you know, near full. I think if you know, some people come and go with 3 games, maybe don't stay for all 3, but you know, you're hitting capacity crowds, and not to knock the NHL, it's awesome. But if you have a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and you want to go watch NHL players, I think you got a better spot for them, because you can get up close, personal, see them as they're coming on and off the ice. You just don't have that when you go to an NHL game, and you know, 20,000 people, and the guys running quickly into the tunnel afterward.
Yeah, you got Dustin Bufflin out there. He's an everyday player. He likes to fish and do some other things in the summer, like a lot of these guys. But you got Bester there every game. You got Jake Gensel there every game. I mean, you got some top young and old
stars, NHL stars, not just the guys hoping to get a game here.
Zach Parise was there almost every night last year, and he's having a great year this year because he grinds it out. Like he doesn't take shortcuts. He's battling everywhere.
Good things happen to those that play into beauty leagues. So what's next? You know, you've transitioned from player to hockey agent to hockey parent. Now you kind of look and say, you know, everything's good, just going to crank out more of the same, or you got some stuff on the horizon?
You know, I think I'm just trying to tread water and keep my head above water with what I'm doing. I flew in this morning, so just the average day or fun day for me is I was at the Blues game last night against the Vancouver Canucks. Brock Besser, one of my clients, and they crushed the Blues. I have 2 clients on the Blues: Alexander Steen from the northern part of Sweden, and Patrick Maroon, a St. Louis boy. Had to be therapist for them last night because the Blues are getting crushed. Went out with them and their wives after the game, and then they had an ugly sweater party. I got in the flight this morning and headed home, but it's nonstop, checking scores, following these guys around. I love what I do, thank God. We were talking about before, hockey players, not to bash any other sports, but it's no comparison. The character, family, environment, and the education that these hockey players come from versus dealing with, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say like maybe the average basketball client, a football client, or even baseball maybe, but they're all great, all these athletes. But I love what I'm doing, so I don't see anything changing other than just keep, servicing these guys that I have, and the young guys, like I already mentioned, the Besters and the Gensels and Tab, and those guys are in contract years, manage their careers and set them up for, hopefully many more years where they can come back and coach and have money in their back pocket that they can give back to the game here in other ways too.
So he smiles a lot, but behind the scenes, he's strong-arming those NHL GMs on behalf of his clients. So John Connolly here with Ben Hankinson. Thanks for all your time.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Awesome. That was great.
And we are back. The Dream Team is reunited. Mark Mackesy is in the house.
Here we are, John. Let's do it all over again, my friend.
So Mark was my color man and a driving force behind helping me get an opportunity to announce two great games. It was the Upper Midwest High School Elite League when the national team came to town, the U.S. national team. We even saw some of these players, I'm sure, off of certainly the Edina team played in that game. And yeah, you and I just like never announced a game together, and it was perfect chemistry. So Cherski bowed out with a throat lozenge trying to hold his voice for tomorrow's Wild game. So we're going to fly without Tom Cherski. And you know what? That's the bad news, but the good news is we've got a more than capable replacement. Mark Mackesy, you're joining me tomorrow as well. Looking forward to it. St. Thomas opens the period with some power play time. They are looking to get on the board, trailing early 2-0. Big spinning wrister here comes off the stick of O'Neill, and Hogue makes a couple saves, and play continues as kept in at the point by O'Neill. He throws the puck rink wide, but nice play here by Boltman to chip it out to the neutral zone. Here comes Henry. Henry gains the blue, gains the red, brings it in front of the benches, and sets up over on the high spot, and this one's left for Christie. Christie plays a short pass to McFadden. You know, Mark, I'm watching these kids. The fifth game, believe it or not, I've announced for St. Thomas so far this year, and it just looks like McFadden's getting a little bit more comfortable with every game. He missed the first two with football, but he's playing better and better. I think those hockey legs are fully back.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is, and he had a great year on the football field. He was the Pioneer Press Football Player of the Year. I think he had 40 touchdowns.
40. I kept saying like 36. 40.
Yeah, I mean, he was a horse in that state championship game. I think he carried the ball 40 times, maybe 45. So he's he is getting his legs back. He's going to have a big year.
This is the St. Thomas playbook, like one sheet, like hand the ball to McFadden.
That was it. I mean, he was incredible. Set a school record for touchdowns.
At a school that's been around a long time, then is also a traditional football power. Shimmick plays this over to Bodette. McLean Bodette, short pass on the near wall. He hits, I thought it was Hallam. It's actually O'Brien. And correct me if I'm wrong here, O'Brien is your sister's son.
He is. He's one of he's a triplet. He's got 3 brothers. Not the biggest guy out here, but he's used to getting knocked around. He's got 3 brothers at home.
So that's your nephew. And first period, Tom Cherski, his son, 17 for Edina. Now we kind of balancing it out here with the uncle of number 19, O'Brien. And as I remember, a little confusion with the rosters when we were at the Thanksgiving tournament. A little confusion on my end. He was player of the game.
Yeah, he had a great game. That was his second varsity game, and he had a goal and an assist, and just played with a lot of energy. Real smart hockey player. Does a lot of things really well both ends of the rink.
And shame on me, I had a roster I had pulled together. I don't know where I found it, but I was saying it's a player, Dayak, and he was on the football team. And I guess when football season ended, he didn't go out for hockey. So I didn't even know who it was, and turns out it was O'Brien, and he is also your nephew. Cherski enters his own, turns the puck over to Bodette. It's the largest player for St. Thomas, taking it away from the tallest player on Edina. Well, maybe not. Bishop's probably same height. Those boys are some big boys. Kept in at the point, whistling wrister. This one goes high up over the crossbar. Delaney, rink wide pass. Cherski's going to pull this one off the wall and chips it up, but it's right into Shimmick. Shimmick counter move and gets it up ahead onto the stick of Hallam. Hallam on retreat, brings this one over. Backhand pass, he hits Bodette. Bodette in front of the benches. It's knocked down by Delaney, and now he's fighting a big battle. He seems like he's a one-man warrior out there. Seems like wherever he goes, it's on Bodette's stick, and he just can't quite find an open teammate. This is a short pass that connects to Soderling. Soderling chip and chase out to the neutral zone. Dumped in by Reiners and turned over right onto the stick of sophomore Hallam. Hallam over to Vega. Vega spins back, plays it to the blue line. Shimmick down to Hallam, back to Shimmick. Shimmick's shot gets knocked down. He plays this one with his mitt, gets control of it, and fires a backhander just wide. Reiners tries to tick it up ahead, can't quite get this one up along the wall. He was trying to break it out through Morton. You know, Mark, I think you're the coach, right? You're St. Thomas coaching staff, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but St. Thomas has got to be feeling great about the way the second period has started. They've kind of leveled things out in terms of shots on goal. They've carried the play thus far. We're 3.5 minutes into the second period.
Yeah, I mean, they felt good about that first period. Edina came out. So I thought both teams came out strong and played well, and the Cadets had a few chances early that they didn't bury, and the Hornets got some puck luck, and next thing you know, they're up 2-0, and that's a dangerous hockey team over there. We've seen that. We saw, John, you and I saw that top line in the Elite League, and they're really skilled and really good.
Malmquist has it bounce over his stick, but he does tip it. They wave off the icing call. Donahue whistles a wrister over here to Herzog. It's second period, folks. One of the things I always watch for is when you're defending that goal further from your bench, can make for some dicey line changes here, and that's why you see some teams maybe more apt to use a stretch pass in the second period. Nevers over to Jungles. Jungles tries to sweep around the defender Shimmick, and now it's down, out into the slot. They can't quite connect with Malmquist. This one's tipped in deep. Bodette, spin move, chips it out, kept in at the blue line, and a big wrister. This one comes in high. Deny. Donahue denies Jungles.
Well, that's a huge save, and he's had a handful of those tonight, and he's been outstanding this year for the Cadets. First-year starter on the varsity, #1 guy on the golf team, heading to Boston College on a golf scholarship, a 4.0 with a 35 ACT.
And he's probably good-looking, witty, and charming as well.
Oh, he's got all the above.
Jeez, ladies.
Brother Seamus is at Michigan Tech, sophomore defenseman, having a great career there. A guy to keep an eye on.
I was going to say ladies are very interested. That one's into the back of the net. It's McFadden, and he pulls the arrow on the bow, and boy, big one there. It kind of took a quirky little bounce, but it's McFadden that slides this in. Hogue not ready for it, and all of a sudden, St. Thomas has cut the margin in half. It's 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, right there, just a little puck luck for the Cadets on that one, and McFadden right place at the right time, and buried it.
Cherski steps into the face-off circle. He's looking across, and he sees O'Neill. Draws one back to Reiners. Reiners chips this one off the glass, and on pursuit, it's Cherski working against Henry. Cherski, 19. 21 from 19 and 12. 21 from 19 and 12. That is going to be McFadden from O'Brien and O'Neill. McFadden, this one's for you. Cherski through the neutral, gains the blue, plays a short pass over to Boltman with a shot just high up over the crossbar. Edina on the line change, bounces over the stick of forechecking Clemenson. One of the things I mentioned earlier, Mark, when we hand off the baton for the color, didn't necessarily hear it, but I've talked about the short turn. Edina plays at 2:30 tomorrow. St. Thomas doesn't play until 7:30, so win or lose, Edina's got to come back to play Chaska, and Chaska's going to be pretty well rested. They had the noon game today.
Yeah, they seem to be finding their stride right now. They've had two great outings here, and obviously tomorrow's going to be should be a great tilt for everyone to get out and see down here at Prior Lake.
We get a stoppage of play, 11:07 remaining. Mark, one of the things I like to do during the high school games, try to do it in the second period, is talk about the graduates of these fine institutions. I'm going to have some fun with this one. It's penalty called on Soderling. Edina goes on the power play, but you know, I'm going to start this earlier. Usually I do it at the end of the second period. We're going to have to start earlier because Edina's, big school, been around a long time, and St. Thomas has been around forever, 100+ years or whatever. So going to have to get to that a little earlier in the second period. Let's see how Edina does on this power play. They have Vorlicki out top. They're using Boltman, turned over on the breakaway. Here's a shorthanded scoring chance for Christie. Christie tucks this one in, and we are tied. Oh, Christie makes him pay. You know, the puck pops out to neutral. Christie comes in on the breakaway. Edina has, they've got two defenders out there. They've got Vorlicki on the blue line, but they're flipping and they're putting Boltman, normally a defenseman, down low by the goal, and leaves him a little bit naked back there when the puck got past Vorlicki, and it's off to the races. Christie ties the game.
Yeah, Christie just a guy with a great motor, hardest working guy out there, opportunistic, goal scorer.
Bodette hit him on the pass outside the zone. So Christie from Bodette. Edina still on the power play, really just starting. Still 90 seconds to go in this one. Here's Malmquist over on the near wall. Spin move, evades the forechecker, plays it back to Vorlicki. Vorlicki goes rink wide over to Nevers. Nevers, Vorlicki. Vorlicki, Nevers. Nevers, Vorlicki. Snapper looking for the tip. He made a nice play there, Mark. It was very clear he played that one away from the goal, looking for Malmquist. Malmquist did get the tip. Nice recovery by Muzzy Donahue to get over and block that shot.
Yeah, that's an impressive power play. You got 5 guys out there that all played in the Elite League. I believe all 5 of them on the same squad. So that's a real skilled group they've got there.
Mark, a board member for the Upper Midwest High School Elite League, and that's a great program. Talked to Coach Tom Satterdahl from Jefferson between games, and he just talked about, you know, the benefits of kids staying in school, and the Elite League's a big part of that. Staying in school in Minnesota, I should say, not moving away, maybe to try to play more games elsewhere. Kept in at the blue line. This is Jungle. Still 50 seconds to go in this power play. Edina's had the 1 shot on goal, but also has given up the goal, and out to the neutral zone. Here comes O'Neill, one-on-one. Tries to work it against Vorlicki. Great job by Vorlicki. Stretch pass. He hits Malmquist. Malmquist, clap bomber, and he lights the lamp. Malmquist from Vorlicki. Edina's back on top. Wowza. So, Mark, you know, I had a chance to get some pregame thoughts from Coach Giles yesterday, and one of the things I asked is compare this year's team to last year, and he talked about, you know, maybe a little bit reliant. Walker was able to do so much that they really looked to him. And this year's team is a little bit more of a puck possession. They don't necessarily spring people. That's an exception. They have a 140-foot pass from Vorlicki. Vorlicke all the way up on the far blue line hits Malmquist, and Malmquist is off to the races. And something I haven't seen him do yet this year, a la Wayne Gretzky, comes in on the breakaway and takes a slap shot before the goalie could get set.
That was a great play.
Down in front of the goal, this one hits a skate boot and taken out to the sidewall by Colby. Colby had the second goal, gave Edina a 2-0 lead, but we are 3-2 after St. Thomas leveled it in that goal that you just saw. Williams, tick pass over here to Vorlicke. Vorlicke, this time there's no stretch pass, tries a more prudent option to Colby just in front of him, and now he has an active stick standing him up as they try to enter the zone. Vega over to Vorlicke. Vorlicke really impressed. You know, Edina's pretty deep on defense. They sent one player who's high school eligible, could have come back for his senior year onto the Gophers. That's Ben Brinkman, and they had another one transfer that's already college committed to what transferred to Blake. And you know, it's hard to crack the lineup, but bringing him off the Bantam team, Nick Williams, just a sophomore in his first year of varsity, he hasn't been phased at all by the higher age and higher level of play. He's been outstanding for Edina, and I don't know that it's easy to get noticed when there's so many older kids on, you know, stars, established stars that you're playing with.
Well, he's got a lot of poise, and he a kid that looks like he's got a real bright future, and I believe he's headed to the University of Minnesota at some point in time. So that's a real good find for the Gophers.
Nice play there for Edina. It was a pass from St. Thomas as was leaving the zone, actually hit the referee and allowed Delaney to keep it in. Second time's a charm, however. St. Thomas did manage to clear it out, and they gained the zone, and now we get an icing call against Edina. 3-2 is your score. Edina 3, Cadets 2. 16-14 are the shots on goal. So, Mark, I went to Edina. You know that. So these are a list of some of the people that are interesting that graduated from Edina. Roy Bostock was the chairman, or is the chairman of Yahoo. I'm not sure. David McLennan went on to become the CEO of Cargill, and this is one of my favorite. I think really it's my favorite. I went to Edina. They're in this meeting, and somebody's talking about something like, "Hey, why don't we put a retail store in decaying malls?" The creator of the idea for the Apple stores, Ron Johnson, Edina grad, and then he says, "You know what? I've got other good ideas. Let's come up with a Genius Bar, and people can go there for service as well." So, Ron Johnson, I had no idea the idea behind the Apple store. You'll know this one. Woo!
Oh, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, he's an Edina grad. And Juliet Duffy was an actress on the television show Newhart. And here's another one, kind of my hero. I always had a crush. Who didn't? Marsha Brady, Marsha. And Maureen McCormick. She's married, has been for a long time, to an Edina grad, Michael Cummings. So they are still married, and I think it's about 30 years or so. So I'll list there of all Edina grads, and next time we get a stoppage, I'll buzz through St. Thomas. Got some there just as good. St. Thomas probably has the best collective group of random obscure trivia graduates, just due to the age and the nature of people attending a boys-only military academy. You guys have some neat graduates.
We do, and I've got actually a brother-in-law who's an Edina grad. He's not here tonight, and I have a nephew who's a Bantam hockey player over in Edina.
Nice.
So I'm over there on occasion and cheering on the Edina Bantams.
Not today, though, is St. Thomas, your alma mater, class of '86, Mark Mackesy. St. Thomas playing the Hornets. Bringing it in here is Christie. Christie with a centering pass. Just a little bit late there as the poke check arrives, but Wright was right there on the doorstep, and Hogue poked it away. Two sophomores, Wright and Hogue. Not the first time, probably not the, or this is the first time, probably not the last time those two will square off in a high school game. Played up to Nevers. Nevers pass doesn't quite connect to Jungles, but guess who's there? And oh my gosh, I can't handle it when these guys are on the ice, Mark. I was telling Tom Cherski this, Matt Henches last night. They pass the puck so fast, it doesn't even make sense to explain it. It goes on the sheet. I'm going to write down 7, 18, and 22. They hook up again. This is a goal from Jungles, passed to him by Nevers, but the tick that got the puck down low was Malmquist. Gervais comes in. They pull the goaltender. Edina now leads 4-2. That's going to be 22 from 18 and 7.
And Gervais is actually, he's an Edina native, transferred over to St. Thomas his sophomore year, was a great guy to pick up in the program, great student athlete over there.
Jet Jungles, this one's for you. All right, back to the action here. So interesting, last night's game, very similar. There were some big swings. It was 2 goals Edina, 2 goals or 3 goals Moorhead, 2 goals Edina, 2 goals Moorhead, back and forth. Today, same thing, Mark. It was 2 goals Edina, 2 goals St. Thomas. We were tied moments ago. Edina comes right back. They put 3 and 4 on the board. They now lead 4-2. We've crossed over the midpoint, 6:19 to go, second period. All right, you ready?
I am.
You didn't do a St. Thomas game with me. You haven't heard some of these. So you did the Elite League with me. I popped these out yesterday and also when I did the Hill Murray game. So let's see, St. Thomas. I always start with this one. Jim Lang hosts the dating game, St. Thomas graduate. I was an Evan Scholar. He was the first, I think, Evan Scholar Minnesota chapter ever had. So Jim Lang, and we'll get to the rest of those as we keep going. And yeah. Out to the neutral zone. This one's chipped in by Killian. Hogue gets there first and leaves this on the stick of Boltman. Boltman's pass doesn't quite connect, but bounces right back to him. Now he goes circling back behind his goal, and a little bit of a guitar solo here. He spins it and rings the boards out high. This is a chance for Borst to break it out. They break it out through Cherski to Delaney. Delaney plays it over to Boltman. They get it onto the stick of Cherski, and you know what? Both Cherski and Borst were in the right position to get it, and they kind of ran into each other, and no shot coming. Shot goes wide off the stick of Boltman, but very nice rush a moment ago. You'll notice it was a 4-man rush for Edina because of how Boltman got up and joined the play. Yeah, he's a skilled guy. He's smart, opportunistic, sees the ice well, and great offensive skills. A little different football story for you here. He's been a hockey-only player for a while. His father used to be the football coach at Edina. He got a little wild hair and said, I'm going to go out for the football team. And I think it was the first 2 weeks he kind of went off. He's a receiver and had some big prolific numbers. Not quite McFadden-like, but interesting story nonetheless, as he really is one that I wouldn't be surprised if he actually picks up sports that he had dropped later on in his high school career. He was so promising when he joined the football team on the gridiron, and Boltman known to be an outstanding athlete across all sports, not just hockey. Well, that's impressive. It's nice to see. I mean, there's, multi-sport athletes. There's obviously opportunities and room for guys to do more than one sport. Williams with the shot, Gervais with the save. This one's played back over to Vorlicki and trying to tip it over Malmquist into Jungles. And boy, there's going to have to be a separate category for it. You don't need an announcer when these three are on the ice. You almost need an auctioneer trying to keep up with the play over to McFadden. This one goes just wide. Jungles tips it over to Malmquist. It's outside the zone, maybe not. Malmquist is not the linesman. I saw his arm go up. He was calling for the delayed offside whistle. Jungles on the forecheck. Oh, he has Malmquist on the doorstep, and there's no blue jerseys, Mark. How does that happen? Yeah, got to be aware when those guys are on the ice. Obviously, we've seen how dangerous they are. Two guys pursued the puck, and you got to mark somebody down in the low slot, especially when it's a guy that put up a hattie last night and is known to be a goal scorer. He's got one so far today. Led the Upper Midwest, little plug for it here. Leading scorer in the Upper Midwest High School Elite League, Liam Malmquist. Liam Malmquist and Ryan O'Neill on the Cadets teammates, and both had exceptional years there. So it's interesting. Between second and third period interview guest tomorrow is Liam Malmquist. I think also Jungles. You're going to want to stick around between periods 2 and 3 today. Our interviews are Mason Nevers and Luke Herzog. Mason Nevers was filmed thanks to Marty Collins at McCoy's Public House in Excelsior. Luke Herzog with host Thomas Odegaard at Jack's Cafe. Big shout out and a thanks to Bill Kozlak. So we're at 4:05 remaining. Puck is dropped. St. Thomas, they've trailed by 2 before and bounced back. Mark, what do you think they're talking about with the Vanellis on the bench, and how are they going to get 2 goals back? They did it once already. Can they do it again? Well, you just got to. You got to play for the next goal, obviously, and you got to continue to play smart defensively. We've seen how Edina can strike and strike fast. They've done it all weekend here. Cadets they need to be patient, play for the next goal, and play smart defensively. This is a shot that hits a couple skate boots and goes just wide of the mark. And now is a shot coming off the stick of Shoemaker. So let's get back to some of these St. Thomas graduates. Tom Emmer, Congressman. Your father has a background in politics as well, so I know you're aware of that one. I think he's an Edina guy, if I'm not mistaken. Hockey player, played at Alaska Fairbanks. Great guy, Tom Emmer. Now, Jim Lang is passed a few years ago and recently passed. I know a lot of people tell me they love his books. Vince Flynn is an author, had a thrilling series of books. I have not read them, but every time I mention his name, people say, I love his books. Vince, just a really special guy. His brother Tim has got a boy, Sean Flynn, who's at the academy right now. Vince was just great to the school,
and great to anybody that ever needed a favor.
Nice. And then the last two, these are my favorites because these are two people who had distinguishing careers on two levels, completely unrelated. So Alfred Grunther, he was the youngest, years coming from a military school. Oh, backhand shot here by Christie. Alfred Grunther, the youngest 4-star general ever in the U.S. Army. That's pretty cool. Then, oh, by the way, later on in his life, he was an expert bridge player, wrote some very, very high-level books that were, I guess, considered best in class as far as bridge education. So 2 careers there, one as a 4-star general and later on as a bridge author. And perhaps my favorite, this one's pretty good, the sheriff of Ramsey County. A lot of responsibility, right? St. Paul, Ramsey County. Tommy Gibbons, St. Thomas Academy graduate. Somewhere in between being the sheriff and attending St. Thomas. Oh, yes. He fought Jack Dempsey for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Right. I mean, that's, one of St. Paul's finest right there.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, you're not going to find that with a, candy-ass suburban kid, are you? It's got to be a gritty St. Paul kid that's going to go fight for the heavyweight championship of the world. Back to the action here. We got 2.5 minutes to go in the period. St. Thomas would love to get a late one here to go to the intermission, just down 1. It's 4-2 Edina. Pinching at the blue line. Nice play here. Bringing it in deep is Henry. Gets it down to the end line. And Oza, it's onto the stick of Vega. Vega, next pass doesn't quite connect. It was Hallam trying to with the give back. This is a whistling wrister just wide. Losing a mitt. There's a St. Thomas player operating with no mitt on his right-hand side. That's Soderling. Soderling doesn't want to run the risk of breaking a wrist here. He goes off the ice, and Williams throws it just harmlessly out to the neutral zone. Bodette on retreat. We're down under 2 minutes left to go in the second period. This is a nice little back pass played by O'Brien. Dipsy dangle and juking and jiving is Bamer. Now it's dumped in deep. First one on the scene is Williams. Vorticke. Snap pass up the boards, but comes right back to him off of the skate boot of Borst. Gains the red line, dumps it in, and with 90 seconds left, it's played by Jervis behind the goal line, and Colby's the one that takes it away from him, not one of the St. Thomas defenders. Boltman dumps this one in deep, and working down low is Grant Morton. Knocked down by Colby, and oh, the puck's a bobble in here and out to the neutral zone. Here comes O'Neill. O'Neill cuts to his forehand. Nice give back and a big shot. Good angle block there. Hogue was definitely in the right spot. There was no daylight for your nephew O'Brien.
Yeah, he made a nice play there. Got it on net and drew a penalty. So we're kind of back to where we were at the end of the first period. Hornets up by 2. Cadets going on the power play.
Yeah, so they didn't score on the power play, and they started the second period on the PP, did not get the goal, but it was shortly thereafter they got one, and then if, correct me if I'm wrong, then it was the short-handed goal from Christie that had the game tied, and yeah, St. Thomas wants a repeat of that where they're able to bounce back quickly. This is a great opportunity. Christie in the face-off circle wins the draw cleanly back to Henry. Henry walks it down the blue line, and Hogue has a good look at this one, and you could see they were trying to get McFadden in there as a screener, but he was tied up by Vorlicke, and Hogue gets the glove save. Face off to his right. What was that? Oh, interference. Christie goes off for interference, Mark, and just 5 seconds into that power play, we're now down to 4-on-4. And look who's out there for Edina. It's Malmquist and Jungles. They've got a little bit more room to operate. Vorlicke and Williams. Now the face-off into the St. Thomas end. It's not a power play situation, but it's going to be wide open hockey for the final minute of the second period. Here comes O'Neill. Hogue leaves it for Vorlicke. Vorlicke brings it out over on the near wall. Oh, the pass goes just between the skate blade and the stick blade of Jungles, and McLean Bodette on the retreat rings a pass over in the direction of McFadden. McFadden brings this one over in our direction and counter move. 30 seconds left. He's tucked back into his zone against the forechecking Liam Malmquist. Out to neutral. This is Henry. Henry working it down to the end line. Williams. Stretch pass. Oh, this one's knocked down by the mitt of Henry. Nice pass over here to Hallam. Hallam with a chance, can't quite get around the defender. And nice play there to break it up by Vorlicke. That's going to do it for the period. So we've got a great set of interviews for you. Mention it one more time. Stick around. We'll be back in 12 minutes. You can take a listen to Mason Nevers from McCoy's Public House. The host is Gracie Nelson, followed by Luke Herzog. That was filmed at Jack's Cafe. Thomas Odegaard from the basketball team at St. Thomas. So Mark and I will come back for the third period. We'll start out with Mark's thoughts about the game thus far and what we're looking for going into period 3. For John Connolly, let's kick it over to our producer, Justin. We'll be right back in about 12 minutes.
Gracie Nelson. We're here at McCoy's at this beautiful venue. I'm here with number 18, forward for the Edina Hornets, Mason Evers. Mason, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. So let's start with something fun. Can you tell me 2 lies about yourself and 1 truth?
Yeah, so first I'll tell you 3 things about myself. The first one, I experienced an earthquake in California. My grandparents. Second one, I was in a car crash with my buddies. And the third one is I went hang gliding in Jamaica.
That's tricky. We're going to have to come back to that. But let's ask you a couple other questions for fun. So what's your favorite place, Mason?
My favorite place is Jamaica. I've been there a couple times for spring break. Lovely place, better people.
Sweet. Favorite activities? Anything fun? Swimming?
Swimming in the ocean, yeah. Time, so
Love
it was
it.
good.
Good. All right, so locker room, big music guy, softy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the slow music. Yeah, I'm a big John Legend fan.
Oh, can you give me a little snippet of that?
I can give you a little. 'Cause all of me loves all of you.
Love it. That was awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. So, celebrity crushes, the ladies.
Yeah, I'm a big friend of Friends, so got a soft spot for Jennifer Aniston.
Nice.
Always have, yup.
So if you were to see Jennifer right now, if she walked in this door,
yeah,
what would your pickup line be?
How you doing?
How you doing? I love that. All right, sweet. So can you tell me what your favorite thing is about the Edina ladies?
Yeah, so the girls at Edina, they're just super nice, super caring, always help me with my homework, so.
Yeah, gotta stay on top of those grades, academics.
Yep, gotta stay close to the girls.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna take a quick break.
Hey guys, come down to McCoy's in St. Louis Park. I know we got a great bar and a wonderful dining area, but if you're having a private party or a groom's dinner or something, we got room for 36 of your closest friends right here. Come check out our private dining room at McCoy's.
Back here at McCoy's with Mason Evers. So let's go back to what we were talking about earlier. We had 2 lies about yourself, 1 truth. Can we recap that quick?
Yeah, so the first one was I experienced the earthquake in California at my grandparents.
Okay.
The second one was I got in a car crash with all my buddies.
Okay.
And then the third one was I went hang gliding in Jamaica.
Okay, well I know teenage boy is not the best driver, so I'm going to have to say that one's true. And let's see. Yeah, is that true?
Yep, you're correct.
Sweet.
You nailed it.
Well, thank you. We're here at McCoy's. That's a wrap.
You want to switch places? Want to put on
Yeah,
a
let's do
sweatshirt?
it.
Sure.
You should switch his sweatshirt and your sweater.
You have a hood on?
Should we switch the sweatshirt and the sweater?
I can be great.
Okay.
Mason, Marty Collins here with McCoy's. Just want to let you know that when your dad played hockey, I was, not as good as a player as he was. But I thought he was awesome and he was great, so I framed his jersey, his actual jersey from when he played at Edina High School, and I want to give it to you, and maybe you can put it up at your house. I don't know what you want to do with this thing.
I'm really flattered, but I think my dad would kill me if he saw us in the house. Thank you, though.
So I should keep it?
Yeah, you got it. All yours.
It's going back in the basement, people.
Minnesota's hockey culture is one of, if not the best in America. So it's only fitting that one of the best hockey camps in the world is right here in Nisswa.
This is Dan Germanson. Welcome to Minnesota Hockey Camps. We are gearing up for our 39th summer based in Nisswa, Minnesota in the beautiful Brainerd Lakes area. At MHC, there is a culture that breeds success. We offer resident and day camps for boys and girls of all ages from mites to NHL, 9 weeks throughout the summer.
We've had probably 700 NHLers come through here.
We have 32 hockey-related activities per week. Over the years, we have had close to 400 professional players come through our camp, including Division I, Stanley Cup, and Olympic champions.
I'm a little surprised that this camp is still here. To be honest with you, we thought it would be about a 20-year run, and it actually got better.
Visit our website at mnhockeycamps.com. Registration opens January 1st for 2019.
Hi, I'm Bill Kozlak. Welcome to Jack's Cafe. We've been on this corner in Northeast Minneapolis since 1933. Come join the good times in my bar and restaurant.
Alright, so we're me, Luke Herzog. What are you, forward, defenseman?
I'm a forward, left wing, yeah.
Left wing, St. Thomas Academy. We're over here at the patio of the Jack's Cafe in Minneapolis. It's beautiful outside right now.
It's really nice out here.
It's a great venue, it's a great restaurant. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, just get the ice broke and everything. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna do 2 lies and a truth. So you tell me 2 lies and a truth, and I decide which is which.
All right, 2 lies and a truth. One, I can solve a Rubik's Cube within 30 seconds. Second one is I've beaten you 1v1 in a game of basketball. And third is I made it to round 82 in Black Ops 2 Zombies on Alcatraz map.
All those could be truths or lies, so I'm going to think about that for a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to it. So what's your favorite place you've vacationed so far, Luke?
I haven't done a lot of vacationing in my life, but Mexico is definitely one of the best spots I've been to. It was pretty nice there.
What part?
Sunny.
Do you know?
Puerto Vallarta, actually.
Puerto Vallarta. Okay.
Right in the...
What'd you like about it?
The weather was great, the beaches were nice, and the food was pretty good too.
You're a pretty good-looking guy. You pick up on any girls over there?
Nah, I didn't really see any.
No.
It was a bad time to vacation.
What about in the future? Where are you thinking about going? Mexico again?
Mexico again, yeah. Okay. Probably Punta Mita. That's where I think I'm going to go for spring break.
Hopefully there'll be some women there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. What's your favorite type of music?
I'd probably say I'm more of a feels guy. You know, I like my feels music. Okay. So kind of the type of music that makes you cry. When
like Somo, kind of, right?
Yeah, Somo, yeah.
What's that song? Okay, yeah, keep going.
What song?
What's that song, Ride by Somo? Isn't that...
I've heard it.
Would you say it's your favorite, maybe?
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
How does it go? I haven't heard it in a while. I
actually haven't either.
Whoa, 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 yeah. Whoa, 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 yeah. Oh. Whoa, oh, oh, yeah, yeah.
It's been like, it's been
a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Just crush.
I have to say my celebrity crush is probably Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
What color hair does she have?
She's blonde. Yep. She. Have you seen The Wolf on Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
She's actually the one of the main characters in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it seems like a common theme for the St. Thomas Academy cadets is just kind of have crushes on blonde girls, you know?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what to say.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you see her, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to wow her? Say, wow, that Luke Herzog kid is something special.
You know, I think I would maybe do something that you do, maybe show her the jawline a little bit.
Ooh,
she would probably dig that a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Give her a little wink, I don't know. You know?
Not a kiss?
No,
that's too soon. That's
too soon.
Okay.
Don't want to overstep.
So, as we all know, St. Thomas Academy, all male school. Yep. We got a school right next to us, visitation, all girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's our favorite thing about visitation girls?
You know, the Viz girls, they're awesome. Really supportive. See them at all of our sporting events. Yeah. Great girls. I'd like to give a special shout out to one of my best friends, Natalie Simmons. She's always there for me. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
You haven't had a relationship with Natalie, have you?
I have not, no. Like I said, she's one of my best friends. That'd be a little weird.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go to break right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to Jack's Cafe. Since 1933, the Kozlak family. We welcome you this holiday season for a nice, cozy fireplace dinner. We look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, we're back from our break. We're at the cafe patio. It's a beautiful day out again. So we're gonna go back to 2 guys.
Okay.
So what was it? What was it again? You beat me in basketball, one-on-one.
1v1, yeah, a little street ball. Second one was round 82 on Black Ops 2 Zombies.
Okay.
Alcatraz map, which is pretty hard. And then the third one is the Rubik's Cube under 30 seconds.
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
I'd say Rubik's Cube is a lie. Your hand-eye coordination isn't too strong.
Yeah, it's not like yours.
Your basketball skills against me, that's got to be a lie. There might have been a time you beat me, but I don't recall of it, so that's a lie. I'd say the Zombies is your best bet.
Yeah, you got that right.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up here at Jack's Cafe. Tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are back. Justin taking care of the buttons for playing our between period content. Hope you enjoyed it. That's going to do it for the interviews for today. Come back tomorrow. We got some different players lined up for both of these teams. So kind of give you a little preview here. I'll tell you what's on tap for tomorrow. Graduates that I talk about, those will be the same, but you know what? The opponent's going to be different, so you'll learn something about the teams they play. 2:30, Edina plays Chaska. It is going to be Luke Peranovich, first period guest. He's a great story. Played for Edina, and now he's playing at. He's on the team at Providence. And then between second and third, it's going to be Jet Jungles and Liam Malmquist, both from McCoy's Public House, interviewed by Edina's own Gracie Nelson. In the nightcap, St. Thomas plays Prior Lake. Mark is going to join me on the color commentary, and we have a great between period guest between period 1 and 2, Peter Krieger. Peter is the leading scorer out of all the forwards last year on UMD's national championship team. He is now a senior and a St. Thomas alum. Great interview with him. Just terrific. I say a kid, you know, college hockey players a little older than kids now, and great young man, and he did a great job kind of telling his story. We had a lot of fun. You can see that tomorrow between period 1 of 2, not just the St. Thomas game, but also the game that precedes it. So good, we're going to run it twice. And then in the nightcap, Tommy Wingus and Luke Herzog are the two interview guests. Both interviewed different parts of Jack's Cafe. The host for that is Tommy Odegaard from the St. Thomas basketball team. So you definitely want to come back tomorrow, and you will hear those. Game 4 of 4 today, game 8 of 12 for the weekend. Edina has a 4-2 lead. Shots on goal are 19 apiece. Edina with a 4-2 lead at this point over St. Thomas Academy. Get you a scoring recap. First goal for Edina, Jungles from Malmquist and Nevers, followed by Colby from Shoemaker and Williams. St. Thomas then got on the board. That came from McFadden with assists to O'Brien and O'Neill. Kind of an Irish little hookup there. McFadden, O'Brien, and O'Neill. And then tying the game with a short-handed goal, it was Christie taking a pass from McLean Bodette. Christie from McLean Bodette tied it up 2-2. Edina answers back. It's Malmquist from Vorlicke. Stretch pass brings him on a breakaway, followed by Jungles from Nevers and Malmquist, and that is your score 4-2. So, Mark Mackesy, I want your thoughts here. What are your thoughts about the game so far? Maybe what St. Thomas should be looking to do if they want to bounce back. They were down 2 goals early and came back and tied it. Thoughts about the game and what's ahead in the third so far?
Yeah, I think they got to manage the puck better on their own end. There were opportunities where they could have cleared the puck that they didn't. Against a skilled team like Edina, they're going to make you pay. That's exactly what happened. And you know the shots are even here tonight. Those have been the differences.
Puck is dropped and we are off. It's a 4-on-4 start for the third period. Bringing it in wide is Henry, gains the zone, pops this one over onto the stick of McFadden, takes a big shot. Hogue with the save, and we get a stop and a cover face-off over to his left. St. Thomas personnel right now, we've got 3 and 6. Henry and Wingus on the blue line. Face-off one back to Henry, plays it over to Wingus. Wingus has been a little bit quiet today. I haven't called his name much, but he draws the penalty here. Tripping call, off goes Jungles.
Right there, that's Carter Henry, the kid that's been really good for us this year, the Cadets. Kid's got a bright future. He's another one. 4.2 GPA, 3-sport athlete, 35 on the ACT.
Well, you just have one remarkable kid after another over at St. Thomas. It's pretty impressive, and it's nice to see. It's just nice to see. I had a chance to meet players from all these teams as we got ready for these games, and got some player profiles recorded, and nice kids around, and certainly St. Thomas no exception. Those are impressive ACT scores.
Yeah, we've got last year the team GPA was 3.6, one of the highest in the state. We obviously take a lot of pride in that. Student athletes.
On the other hand, the public school kids from Edina are down to 3 skaters here. Malmquist is the lone forechecker. He's got Reiners and Vorlicki behind him, and Hogue's in goal. So penalty is about to expire. Edina gets one player back. Now St. Thomas gets the other player back, and this one goes off of Vorlicki's stick, almost an own goal. Now it's still a St. Thomas power play, but Mark, instead of 4-on-3, it is now 5-on-4.
Yeah, and this is a big spot in this game right here where the Cadets have got to do something here. They've got to create some scoring chances, and obviously better yet get one, but they've got to get some momentum.
McFadden over to Christie, back to McFadden. Tries a little give back, but it pops onto the stick of Nevers. He throws a little softy the length of the ice, and on pursuit here is Cherski. Cherski's got a long reach. I think I'd be pretty careful. I wouldn't let him get too close to me, because at any moment with that long reach. And they turn it over right to him, and Cherski buys some time. Nice little presence here, gets it, shorthanded scoring chance for, wow, nice shorthanded scoring chance for Jungles on a pass from, Nevers from Cherski, entering the zone and taking it down to the end wall. Still 30 seconds left in the Cadets power play, still 30 seconds left. Played back to the blue line, and it's gobbled up by O'Neill. O'Neill to Hallam, back to O'Neill. Snapper, this one hits a defender and gets knocked down. The goal mouth is wide open when he goes to shoot it, but credit Bolton with getting in there and blocking the shot, got in the shooting lane. McFadden takes a couple cracks at it. Hogue scrambling for it. He eventually gets the cover.
Yeah, and Cherski get more ice time as this goes along, and impressive guy. Seems to be getting better every time he goes out there.
You know, it's just so impressive seeing progress year to year on a player like him. Now he's tall. I'm thinking at least 6'5", maybe taller, and I never had that. I don't want to say problem, but I never had that problem trying to coordinate myself. 5'8", topped out, and never grew, and I don't think I'm still growing. So Brett's a player that's certainly a later bloomer, but gee, sky's the limit with how he's been playing and gets a little stronger. He's got a lot of potential. This is a pass onto the stick of Delaney, but he can't quite get it under control. Edina has successfully killed that penalty, and now Baudette's pass, a little give back to Baudette, fires this one rink wide and a little bit behind O'Neill. He's got to go back and pick this one up. Tipped down to the length of the ice by Delaney. Oh, they turn it over right to Colby, gets a stick on it. And third time's a charm. Baudette tries to get out. Oh, not so fast. This one comes around. That's something I haven't seen before. The stick for Colby wound up kind of rested across the arms of the St. Thomas player McFadden as he skated up ice, and he had to get rid of that stick if he wanted to carry the puck. Jungles gains the zone, working against Baudette, and little dipsy dangle, and tries to come out the other side, take a shot, goes back to Williams. Snapper, this one's down low. Jungles again, and boy, they're just so tenacious on the forecheck. Nevers back to Jungles. That one, Vaseline puck. Goaltender Jervis was in the right spot, but it bobbles off of him. 5-2 Edina. Jungles with the goal. Well, Mark, that's a hat trick for one Jet Jungles, third goal of the game. Yesterday, Liam had his hat trick, Malmquist, and one hat was thrown on the ice. One hat.
Yeah, I can never quite figure that out. You throw a hat on the ice, you lose the hat. Probably maybe other ways to show your appreciation.
I said the same thing. I said, you go to an NHL game, there might be a lot of hats thrown on the ice. There was one, and I wouldn't be the guy throwing the hat. I want to keep my hat. So Jungles from Nevers. Mom's got to break out the sewing machine. Mason Nevers with 3 assists. Make room for that playmaker patch. Cherski goes off, and that's a minor penalty called on him. 5-2 lead for the Hornets, and with 13:28 to go. You have a feeling at this stage of the game, Mark, St. Thomas would like to get one here if they're going to crawl back and get 3 more goals. This is a best opportunity that you could foresee right now. They'd like to get one sooner rather than later. Tripping the call. They work it over on the near wall. It's Herzog playing it back, and oh, nice pass here from Henry. They try Herzog on the give back, and Boltman got a stick on that one, and now it's turned over. Malmquist throws it the length of the ice. He's out here on the PK with Morton. Morton goes off, and from what I've seen so far, that seems to be a role that Morton has settled into quite nicely today. Yesterday it was Colby a lot on the PK, and today it's Morton. Very vital as Edina, they've broken open some leads, and they got to keep these power play goals from occurring.
Yeah, they've done a nice job of killing here tonight. And as you mentioned, obviously a key spot here, 1:28 to go. Cadets need one.
St. Thomas has 22 shots on goal. Edina only has 21, so St. Thomas certainly has had a lot of puck possession. They've had zone time. They've gotten pucks to net. They haven't had any puck luck, I think it's safe to say. I talked to Dan Bodette between periods. Obviously played minor pro hockey after his college career. St. Thomas graduate with a son on the team. He's a knowledgeable guy watching this game. He goes, it's a much closer game than 4-2. And we come out for the third, and Edina gets the 5th goal. So, this is deceiving score here. Edina up 5-2. Cadets with 1:05 left on this man advantage. They'd love to get one and start whittling down on that lead and see if they can, come back and get in this game. Chipped out to the neutral zone. It's Nevers. Nevers. Oh, it took a bounce and came out onto the stick of O'Neill. Had it twisted sideways, it would have gone right to Jungles. Nice pass here from Williams. Williams hunts it down, and a little 4-on-5 attack action here from the Hornets. You usually don't see guys 4-on-5 attacking offensively. Usually it's one shot, and then they go back and retreat. This penalty is called against Christie. I think it's his 2nd of the game. It's a high stick. Nonetheless, that negates what was left of the 41-second power play for St. Thomas. Now Edina is going to skate with them 4-on-4. They bring out Malmquist and Jungles. Countering, I see Bodette, Wingus, McFadden, and Herzog.
The 2 football captains, McFadden and Herzog, out there representing right now.
In case you just joined us, Herzog committed to North Dakota for football. They're a big football power. It's the same school as Carson Wentz, right? North Dakota? Carson Wentz?
He was North Dakota State.
He was North Dakota State. So I know North Dakota wins a lot, and Herzog has given his, I think he's even signed a letter of intent. And correct me if I'm wrong, you told me McFadden, Pioneer Press Player of the Year for football, hasn't made his post-high school choice yet, and still has an interest, maybe not football. You'd like to play hockey possibly?
I think that's a possibility. I know that both are options for him. It's really a matter of which route he wants to go.
Well, we have a mess load of scouts here, all levels, NHL scouts, and tons and tons of junior scouts. I've seen some college coaches here as well. They're often busy coaching at this time, but I do know some are in the building. I think the Gophers are even playing right now, but nothing I've seen this weekend would do something to hurt McFadden's chances of playing hockey if that's what he wants to do. He has been outstanding in both games, and as I mentioned earlier, Mark, seems to be getting those hockey legs under him every time I see him play. He's really, coming into his own in the hockey season after a little bit of a later start as a football player. He didn't join the team until the games had already begun.
Yeah, St. Thomas, obviously, both teams real skilled with a lot of high-end guys that are going to play at the next level. St. Thomas with a lot of guys that are yet to commit that will soon.
Cherski's penalty has expired. They bring out Nevers in his place. Nevers can't quite get the breakout past the first time. It bounces back to him, and he's going to bring it back into Edina's zone. Neutral zone, four-man trap here by St. Thomas, but Edina does manage the zone entry. Played it back to Vorlicki on the point. Vorlicki over to Jungles. Jungles down to Malmquist. Out to Jungles. Vorlicki. Vorlicki with a snapper looking for a tip down low, and Boltman's that one down low, and he's right in front of the goal, but it's a nice save. So am I saying it right, Jervis or Gervais?
Jarvis, actually.
Jarvis, okay. So the A is invisible. Sometimes it's like this letter silent. Jarvis.
Yep, Edina kid came over his sophomore year, and it's been part of the program.
Very, very good. So down below the end line, it's Malmquist, slow roll over to Jungles. Jungles, out top to Vorlicki. Nevers. Jungles. Out top to Vorlicki. Vorlicki over to Nevers. Nevers to Jungles. This one's a skip pass, bounces a little bit, 15 seconds to go in the man advantage. Jungles overlapping to Vorlicki. Down low, one-timer for Nevers. This one steered aside by Jarvis, tripping the call. St. Thomas is going to go on the power play in just 6 seconds. Mark, St. Thomas is going to have a man advantage, 6 seconds left till they are back to full strength.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a bit of a parade to the penalty box here in the third period, which is surprising with the speed and the skill of these two teams.
Yeah, a little choppy compared to the start of the game. There was a lot of end-to-end action in that first period. We've got 10-13. Let's get you a reset. Edina Hornets scored the first two. St. Thomas leveled it up at 2-2, but the last 3 goals have been scored by Edina. They lead 5-2. St. Thomas has almost as many shots. 24-23 is the shot total, favoring Edina, but 2-1. And now with St. Thomas being full strength, they've got a minute 55 left to work with as the power play, and they'd love to get one here with 10 minutes to go exactly. 10 minutes to go in this game. St. Thomas needs to get one if they're going to find a way to crawl back into this game. Christie out of his own end, skates it up straight up the middle, gains the blue, gains the red, gains the blue, and cuts over to his backhand, plays it back to the blue line. O'Neill, nice shot over from his partner Henry, and a quick save by Hogue. Hogue's been very good today. I think it's important for Edina that things settle down, and yesterday giving up 5 goals, really stout goaltending today by Hogue. Credit him for bouncing back and really getting things under control in net. Cherski wins the faceoff, fires it out with his backhand, and slow roller all the way down. Jarvis leaves this one onto the stick of Christie. Christie's hounded by Delaney. Delaney, he's one of the leading scorers on this team, and a big, huge start to the season. Had entered this event with 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points, and when there were some players not available to start the season, he really stepped up, and kind of a lesser-known player in the Edina system, had a huge Thanksgiving tournament in those 2 games. Now he's on the forecheck, working out here with Cherski, and they're a fun little tandem to watch. Cherski, shovel shot down, and you know what? He's going to take off and try to win this race. Comes down, Henry tips it away over to Christie. Times are running off the clock on this power play. They get it out to the neutral zone, gain the red, gain the blue, but they've lost possession, and first one now down into the far corner is Christie, but he can't quite pick it up. Cherski, oh, breakaway opportunity. Here comes Jungles all alone. Jungles takes that pass from Cherski, fakes the shot, and winds up making a deke. Nice play there by Jarvis. Puck up into the netting, and ooh, avoiding a little short-handed scoring chance there. St. Thomas does not give up a goal. Credit Jarvis.
Yeah, great save there by Wes, and you know, again, got to keep battling here and playing for the next goal.
8:44 remaining in this game, regulation time. St. Thomas trailing by 3, but they still got a 30-second man advantage. 30-second man advantage. D-to-D pass. This one's played off over to Wingus. Wrist shot comes out, hits the skate boot of Bishop. Haven't called Bishop's name a lot today, but he's out there working a little PK action. They play this one back to Bishop. Bishop looks over, plays this one to Reiners. Reiners throws it the length of the ice, and here's Bamer. Am I getting that one right, Bamer?
Yeah, Andrew Bamer, yep,
Bamer?
junior, also a golfer.
Oh yeah, sometimes I've said Bomer, but I haven't been sure. Now I know. I guess I'm right 2/3 of the time. I usually say Bamer. He looked really good when we watched the opener, and then all of a sudden, come here, and I don't know that he's gotten as many minutes, but really shows the quality depth along the blue line. Oof, paying the price for missing the check there. Kavanaugh goes in hard and dings himself. I'm surprised he got up as quickly as he did. He recklessly crashed himself into the end wall.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Here comes Vorlicke. Vorlicke out top. Big clap bomber shooting off the passes. Clemenson. Clemenson hasn't had many shifts today, but you can see he's really trying to make something happen. And, Mark, I think now that Edina's got the lead with 7 minutes to go, I think we're going to see them very deep into the bench. They've got a quick turnaround. They'll be playing Chaska at 2:30 tomorrow, and Chaska right now seems to be playing as well as anybody in the state.
Yeah, they've been putting the puck in the net and seem to be finding their groove. And their horses delivered the last 2 days, and we'll see if they can keep that going.
And how it was Laval with 2 shorthanded goals on 1 major penalty today. Kester with a hat trick yesterday. And up front, very impressive play thus far by Pitlick. And I'm probably forget. Oh, Warner had the hat trick today. So, oh yeah, Chaska. Wow, Chaska, doubled up on EP 6-3 yesterday. 8-0 over Prior Lake. Chaska is rested, and they're going to be looking forward to playing Edina tomorrow at 2:30. Looking ahead on St. Thomas, they've got Prior Lake. Prior Lake losers in overtime yesterday, and they got dusted today by Chaska, so they're going to come out and play with an edge for sure. Down over to Shoemaker. Shoemaker tries to keep it in, but it slides out to the neutral zone. Now it's Vorlicke on retreat back into his zone and almost gives up the puck to a forechecking Soderling. This one's played over to Williams. Williams passes it in front of the benches. Shoemaker. Shoemaker's got Colby. Colby's going to be the first one to get down to the end wall. Fights off a check from Bodette. Pulls this one down and now through the corner. Played back to the blue line. This is Boltman. Boltman chips it down deep. Behind the goal line, this is Borst. Borst, little spin move. Gets this one over onto the stick of Morton. And it's stolen. We're working out the other way. It's O'Neill out to the neutral zone. Here comes Boltman. Boltman. Pass doesn't quite come off of his stick, and it's stolen by Christie. Dumped in, chip and chase here from Delaney. Delaney fighting down along the end wall. He's working against Shimmick. Shimmick plays it to Bodette. Bodette back to Shimmick. He lets it go, and it's out to the neutral zone. Mark, 5 minutes, 50 seconds left in this one. St. Thomas is going to need to score quickly, or the time is just going to dwindle away like sands in the hourglass.
Yeah, time's ticking here. You got to get you got to get 2 quick ones, and that's really kind of where this is at right now.
Right, he's got a chance to make something happen, and fanning on it as he tried to clear the zone is Reiners, and big shot here. Nice wide angle shot from Christie. Hogue could never quite get it covered, but it's tidied up by Cherski there, and they bring it to the blue line. Not out, however, kept in by Bamer. 5:15 to go in this one. Delaney, rink wide pass onto the stick of Borst, but it kind of bobbles off deep, and everybody for Edina, they change a full 5. 5 guys come off the ice, and fresh 5 out here for Edina. Williams back on the retreat. Passes it out to Jungles. Jungles through the neutral zone, gains the blue, pulls it back, and fires a shot. This one goes up over the glass, over the crossbar into the glass, and big shot here from Malmquist. Malmquist, possible tip from Jungles. I don't know who gets credit for that one, but Malmquist, possibly Jungles. Edina takes the lead 6-2. So, Mark, one of the things about Edina, people that follow the program year to year to year, there's been great teams, there's been great players. One of the things that people say is watching these 3, they're so unselfish. And, you kind of see an example right there. I don't know who scored because neither one celebrated. They're just kind of like, let's go make it happen, guys. Puck moves around, and boom, they get a goal.
Well, that's huge when your top players and your best players are unselfish and don't care who gets the credit. The rest of the team's going to follow that.
6th verse, same as the first. It was 22 from 7 and 18. That's the way the game started. 22 from 7 and 18. This is a pass from Jungles to Malmquist, and then a tip down low from pass from Nevers to Malmquist, and a tip from Jungles. He has 4 goals this game. Yesterday it was time for Malmquist to get the goals, and we got a penalty upcoming here. Penalty upcoming with 4:05 to go in this one. Played back to the blue line. Penalties on Edina. St. Thomas rolls out to the neutral. This is Wingus. And, oh, you don't see that very often, but the puck kind of bounced and was going toward that open goal. You pull the goalie for that extra skater, and Edina can't really make plays with possession of the puck, but a straight bounce might lead to an empty net goal with the delayed penalty upcoming. Finally, Edina gets their stick on it. We get a stoppage with 3:42 to go. So, Mark, you know, you're watching this game, and you're familiar with St. Thomas. Edina's played very, very well. Rugemer, you know, what do you look at? And just hone in on that Jungles, Nevers, Malmquist line. As a coach, you know, these kids, they're mature beyond their years. They have hockey sense that's pretty impressive. Oh, we got some offsetting penalties here. I'm not sure if something was said. We'll have to listen to see. But Christie goes off. I think it's his third penalty of the game. There was a delayed penalty situation, so it didn't happen while the game was going on. It must have been after the stoppage of play. Christie goes off. It looks like nothing on the board. We're going to skate 5-on-5. So, Mark, my question for you is, as a coach, you know, you look at this Edina line, and Edina hasn't even started conference play yet. What are you going to tell the kids? Like, how are you going to try to negate this line? Is it physical play? Is it trapping back in your zone and just trying to clear rebounds? What do you need to do in order to slow down this juggernaut line?
I think it's just you got to keep it simple, and you got to, when they're out there on the ice, you got to focus on getting pucks out of your end fast, and obviously not letting them play in your end zone. I mean, they're going to score. As skilled as they are, they've proven that now against really good competition to date. Nobody's been able to stop them. And so, my opinion, the easiest way to stop them is try and play in the other end. Nothing scientific about that, but amazing. Teams that focus on getting pucks out of their end, and I know that's a big thing in the NHL, is there's a countdown of how long do we want to have at our end. With these guys, you got to double that.
Streaking up into the zone is McFadden with a beautiful stick handling maneuver there. Loses the puck when he runs into their goaltender or whatever. Edina chips it out to the neutral zone. Just 2 minutes, 45 seconds left. I want to continue that thought. So, Mark, one of the things that I find interesting in watching this line, they're unselfish, yet somebody has to eventually get the shot off. They score a lot of open net goals. They've got the goaltender down, and they move the puck and they're firing in. They're not really firing anything past the goalie. So kind of wonder, three small players, none of them are very heavy. Kind of wonder if there might be an opportunity. It's like Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson. Like, you don't know that there'd be a possible tough matchup until they run into it. What about a big physical team? Is there a way you might be able to just grind these guys and kind of take away their will by just beating up on them? There are some teams that might employ a style like that are on their schedule, and might that have any success?
Well, it might. I mean, we haven't seen it yet. I know Duluth East has got a pretty physical team, and they may see those guys down the road. It may be a question of how do you try and throw their game back on them, and that was Herb Brooks's thought process against the Russians back in 1980. Is I want to try and throw their game back on them, which is something that hadn't been tried before.
So rather than counter with a style, maybe that's the opposite, which is a ground and pound. Maybe try to play with them. Makes sense. And which teams in the state? Certainly maybe Chaska tomorrow, Minnetonka. There might be a short list of teams that might have the personnel to do it. And if you quieted them down, nobody's really been able to do it so far. Maybe that depth of Edina players like Cherski, like Delaney, like Borst. Maybe those guys go off and make it problematic. Last thing I want to mention, talking about that line, is what's interesting is the first couple games this year, they didn't play together. Now, they were broken up, and Jungles, Nevers, Malmquist were on a couple different lines. It was Delaney playing with Nevers, and I think Jungles, Malmquist, and can't remember who the center was, but you had a couple different looks here. Eventually, they put them together, and the explanation that I heard is when they wanted to put together a group like that on the power play, it was too disruptive as a coach trying to get the lines back together, that rather than that, they were just going to roll whoever's next out for the the power play time, line time, and usually those guys might be pretty rested and can get a lot more PP time that way together. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Edina looks forward. They're going to play Chaska. Chaska entered this tournament 4-5. I saw their 2 games, folks. Chaska's playing as well as anybody could possibly imagine right now. They are going to give Edina a heck of a game tomorrow. Let's flip it over there. Look at the boys in blue. St. Thomas, they've got a long rest. They don't play till 7:30 tomorrow night. They've got Prior Lake. Prior Lake is reeling after getting greased by Chaska 8-0. So what are you thinking from the cadet side, Mark? This is your program. What do they got to do to get ready for tomorrow's game? They've got 90 seconds left in this one. Then they've got a quick, a quick time before bedtime, but they have all day to think about it. What do the cadets need to do tomorrow?
Well, you just got to, each guy's got to kind of look at themselves and think about where they can improve and basically just get back to your game. And each guy brings something different, like every hockey team, and these guys are no different. And so now you got to, get back to what works. If you're a big guy like Luke Herzog, you got to finish checks and go hard to the net. If you're a skill guy like Ryan O'Neill, you've got to play smart, find the open man, and when your chances are there, bury them.
What's interesting about this game closing out here, a power play opportunity. Warlicki's off, power play opportunity. St. Thomas is doing a great job of getting some zone time, getting some chances. And, if they could put in a goal here, maybe leave with not such a bad taste in their mouth. Still 35 seconds to go. They'll be on the power play for the next 15. It'd be nice if they might be able to get one in, and this shot goes just wide. Bishop throws this one the length of the ice. That's going to do it for the power play, folks. 10 seconds left, and by the time St. Thomas pulls this out of their end, it's going to be Warlicki back on the ice. 4-3-2. Edina returns to full strength as O'Neill gains the red line, gains the blue, tries one drop pass into the high slot area, and oh, what a save by Hogue. He has done this all year long where he's really committed himself, and he makes an outstanding acrobatic save there. What a huge save to keep the cadets from getting their 3rd goal.
Yeah, that's one he's going to want to carry over tomorrow. That's a great save, real athletic move on his part.
That's caught up with him in some of these other games where he gets the save, but then unable to recover if the puck stays out in front. So Edina defense, watching, just knowing that's his style of play, they're going to have to be wary as they go through. We're still in the first half of the season, a lot of hockey left. They're going to have to find ways to clear that puck out to the side wall. 5-4-3-2-1, folks, that's going to do it. It's an Edina victory. They have maintained their undefeated record with a 6-2 win over St. Thomas Academy. Going to turn it over to Mark Mackesy here for some final game thoughts. And why don't you nominate a couple players off of both teams? I'm going to put together, a broadcaster's booth all-tournament team after the last game tomorrow, and you'll be with me for that one. So maybe give us some of the names on both teams that caught your eye today.
Well, I think it's obviously Jungles for the Hornets with was it 4 goals?
Quattro.
Yeah, and that whole line, put a gold star next to their name, and the guy that I like for the cadets that battled all night long, we didn't see him on the score sheet, is number 3 Carter Henry, who's been steady all year and a guy that just keeps getting better. So
about that line, Jungles has 4 goals, Malmquist has 1 goal, 3 assists, Nevers 4 assists, 3 guys, 12 points, 4 goals. Wow.
Yeah,
5 goals between them.
They've found their game. They've found their identity here early, and good for them as a team. That's kind of what you hope for. You come in and you see this level of competition, and you want your horses to get out there and show everybody what they can do and lead, and that's exactly what these guys did.
I want to thank everybody for watching. It's been a treat to be in the booth. Justin did a fantastic job again as our producer. A little bit choppy here with Tom Cherski. Tom Cherski taking the first period for us. He's sucking on that throat lozenge. Thanks for coming in here, and he's got the Wild game tomorrow. And with me for 2nd and 3rd periods is Mark Mackesy. Mark, pleasure as always. Thanks for being here, and I really look forward to getting in final game tomorrow with you here at 7:30 as St. Thomas takes on Stillwater.
John, great being with you. Look forward to it as well.
That'll do it. Thanks. See ya.